I just wanted to quick show off the Finch Takuna. This is one of the finches that got away for me, and it's on loan to me from Hero Sticks. Thanks again, Hero, for all the awesome knives you send my way to check out. This one I've mentioned before was one that I was interested in getting. I didn't really get into Finch knives when this knife was out. I got into them a little while later, and then these became a little harder to find. And Hero heard me say that, and he sent this, and it is a cool knife, man. I really like the blade on this one. Again, the whole Finch thing is modern flipper knives, inspired by older traditional, especially American pocket knives. There was a time where I wanted every single Finch, and then, man, they got away from me. They are prolific. They keep coming out with these awesome models, and there are so many other companies that I'm also buying knives from that I have lost in my race for the Finch, because there are probably as many models out in addition to the ones I have. So I have, what is this? I have 6 of my own, and I'm sure they have 12 or more models at this point. But those guys are awesome, and I love every design they come out with. Some more than others, naturally, but most of them are just knockouts to me. So this is 154 cm blade steel. They have really, really good edges on them. Finch knives are made, who makes these? QSP, I think, makes Finch knives. And man, they do a great job on them. Very, very well made. You got the drop shut action. You have these awesome flippers on all of them that I really like, that are low profile when they're closed. So they're not big, giant pocket peckers, as Nick Shabazz would say. Does look like a bird. But they work very well, the way they're angled and jimped. And then when they're out, they are like choils, inverse choils. Instead of coming into negative space, they pop forward into positive space with that jimped platform. You can come all the way up, right up next to the blade, and do whatever this detail work thing is that people always talk about. But you can come up, say you're powering through cardboard, and you want to take advantage of this angle here. You might want to come right up to the blade and be feeding the cardboard into that angle, almost like a recurve. So let's talk about that. When you have the flat spine, this is a flat spined knife, basically, where from about mid handle to the tip of the blade, it's a flat line. And so that makes this where the from the sharpening choil to the apex of the belly, it's a downward angle. So that acts sort of like a let's see if I can get some light behind it. Acts sort of like a recurve. See what I mean? Jelly bean. It just kind of, as you draw it, it comes into that because this straightaway is headed down at an angle and not parallel to the top edge. You're like, yes, we get it. We got it like a minute ago. Got it. All right. So I really like that this thing has that swedge. I think that really sells the blade. It's so beautiful already how the flat grind negotiates this corner or this turn. I love the way that looks. And then you add that swedge in there. All right, people, I freely admit I am superficial, and looks really matter to me on knives. And the look of that blade really has me. The look of the handle, I always kind of didn't like. The look of it, but in hand, it feels great. What I didn't like is this abrupt and straight drop. But if by chance you need to use it like this, because you're gonna power this knife into the top of a 55-gallon oil drum full of Uzis that some criminals are trying to get past you, you have a really nice flat platform there to clamp down so your hands don't slide down. That would be disastrous if your hand, believe me, I know, my 42nd birthday, which was quite a while ago now, I was doing something stupid, and I ran my hand up onto the blade of my Endura, and, well, did some damage. So you never want to come up onto that blade. That is an unpleasant surprise, especially if you're like 25 shots of tequila in to the evening, and you don't realize you're bleeding until your mother-in-law screams. That's bad. So you don't want to come up onto the blade. This flat surface really does give you a great purchase point for your thumb. Chances are you'll never use this Finch Takuna in that way, but if need be. Say you got to stick it into a tree, and then you're going to hang a shaving mirror over it because you're a classy camper. Something like that. You're going to want to use that. Very sharp is this blade. That's a saber grind, halfway up, flat. And again, like I said, 154 cm. Most of their knives are 154 cm. Love that blade steel. Takes a great edge. It's easy to maintain, and it's reasonably, holds an edge reasonably well, and also has good corrosion resistance. It's a great steel. That's why a lot of knife companies use it. It's why a lot of custom knife makers like 154 cm. It's also easy to work with, I guess, with a grinder. You've got this nice sculpted rock pattern on the orange G10, and it came in other flavors, not sure what. Here, I'm going to, well, this glows in the dark, you know that. All the Finch badges glow in the dark. It's a sort of tip of the hat to their partner watch company, Raven Watches, a boutique adventure watch company. And so, yeah, they put some lume on every one of their knives. I think that's cool. Some sticks in the mud don't like the badge on their knives, but, you know, they're wrong. All right, let me show this off with a couple of with my Finch collection, and which a lot of it comes from this era. This is one of their very first knives. So the first one I got was the Runtley. Still, just such a great knife, the Runtley, and it's just so full of charm. That's a word I use to characterize Finch knives. Just full of charm. They're awesome, but not insipid, you know? So this one was the 2019 Christmas unboxing knife of the year. I used this to open up and free the toys from every package my girls got that year, and it did a great job. This is the 1929. I love this thing, model 1929. This is in Nightcrawler bone. So that's cow bone. I think they use the shin. Is that right? And here it is, or maybe they use it all, I'm not sure, but I thought it was shin bone. And then here it is dyed this beautiful earthworm color, Nightcrawler color, and given the Nightcrawler lines there. Another tip of the hat to their love of fishing. The Runtley here is named after the runt, which is apparently a famous fishing lure. And the guys, Spencer and Steve over at Finch, do a lot of fishing. And so you got your Nightcrawler here. Great blade here. This little clip point blade, also 154 cm, comes to a very fine edge. And it's just, this thing reminds me of a scalpel. Actually, the blade shape is very scalpeline, and it's very sharp. Very, very sharp. And this is a fun one to strop and just get, you know, it's ridiculous. Great action on all of these knives. And they seem to break down into two categories. This sort of full G10 handle and then the bolstered handles. Here it is with the Devil's Finger. This thing is awesome. Oh no, this is the Drifter. I'm sorry, the Devil's Finger is one that I want, that I don't have. The Drifter, this beautiful Bowie to me, is evocative of sort of a coffin-handled Bowie. I love the shape of the blade. It's very dramatic. It's got that long, I think they call that a Spanish swedge. That, like, this looks like a Spanish from Spain kind of clip point blade. The Drifter. And each one of these knives comes with its own sticker and kind of artwork developed for the knife itself. And I love that. All of their stickers and designs and sort of logos evoke a time that I romanticize that I wasn't alive for, you know, the earlier part of the 20th century. And I don't know, when things were a little bit simpler, and you know, when my grandfather was a boy, I guess. My grandfather's. Okay, now we're going down a Finch. This is a little memory lane tour here. So I'm going to show you all of my Finches. Got three more. So here is the Takuna with something more in its size range. This is the devil's finger. I do love this knife. I recently oiled the handle. This is that sort of G10 where you see a lot of the white epoxy. And I don't use it enough to get my finger oils, my hand oils, to deepen the red. So I just decided to deepen the red. You can usually, if you just take a cloth and rub it, you know, you can get it to absorb some of that oil and you can get some of that white back if that's your thing. It feels really great in the hand. This is a very nice knife. Excellent action on this knife. Like this is probably my best. Oh, this or this or this. This has amazing action too. This is the Cimarron and this is the Devil's Finger, my two biggest Finch knives. This thing, I was carrying this the other day. This is a cool knife. This comes in 4 or 5 different flavors of G10, all dual colored. Love this gray and yellow. They also have a Kelly green and like royal blue and a orange and green and a black and red. And they're all based on the colors of their various camping gear, like jackets and backpacks and things that have the bright colors for visibility. And I really think that that's a beautiful color combo. I like all the color combos for the Cimarron. This is my favorite of all the Finch knives, at least that I have so far. Love this thing. This is the Holiday, named after Doc Holliday, hence the 2 L's. It's not like we're going on holiday. And this is based on the Doctor's knife with that parallel lined, flat-ended handle, which is an old school American pattern. It had a flat bottom for grinding up pills. And then they usually had a clip point or a drop point blade, and then a thing that you would pull out that was like a spatula paddle. So you could make tinctures and stir up potions and stuff, you know, back in the old days. So based on the Doctor's knife, but it's got this really great looking and great working Wharncliffe blade. And Steve or Spencer's, I can't remember who, I guess it was Spencer's father, was really into the Old West. And so he was thinking of that when he designed this and named it the Holiday. Okay, and one more to show with the Takuna here. Man, I'm going to have to get this and bring it into the fold. The Harvester, a very cool knife. They said was based on the Sod Buster that some of their families used on the farm. But now they have one, the Chernobyl Ant, which is the one I really want to get right now. The Chernobyl Ant is just, man, that's a magical design. They really, really nailed everything about that knife, I think. But the Chernobyl Ant looks much more like a Sod Buster now than this one. This one has that great downward angle. I mean, what a great cutting. You know, people talk about geometry. They're always talking about they're talking about this geometry, how it's, you know, how the bevel is angled in and how the edge is and all that. But there's also this geometry. And, you know, are the lines parallel? Is the spine are the spine and the edge parallel? Or does it come down here? This kind of geometry is incredible for cutting, for pull cutting, for any kind of cutting. You know, say you got to cut a rope and you're pulling it towards you. You're trapping the material in this space, in this triangle. So the geometry on this is pretty awesome, and in both ways. All right, well, I started this video about the Takuna and it became a treatise on Finch knives. Obviously, I need to get more to fill up this collection. It's at this point, you know, according to their output, I need to do some work. But I got to say, if you have the interest or the means, you know, to find one of these, and because I think they're hard to find now. I recommend it. I think it's great. And like, you know, I have not taken this one and used it. It's not mine. But judging on the other saber ground Finch knives I have in 154 cm with similar blade stock, this is even thinner, I would say this is a fantastic cutter. This is going to be a fantastic cutter, no doubt. Yep, very much like this knife. All right, thanks for watching. This is the Finch Takuna. Take care, y'all.